Hi, Heather Sugg here, filming live at Money20 USA for FinTech Futures. Today, we have a good conversation ahead for you. We're talking about fintechs with Mastercard. And we obviously have a lot to cover, so let's jump right into this. And we'll start with introductions. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your role at Mastercard?
Yeah, sure. So again, thank you for having us. I'm Tim Montgomery. I run our North America Digital Partnerships and FinTech team here at Mastercard, and my team is responsible for overseeing all of our relationships, including our digital partners, which is traditional e-commerce merchants, all verticals of digital merchants, so marketplaces, rideshare, subscription verticals, but also importantly for this conversation, our entire fintech ecosystem of partners. And we think about that pretty dynamically. That includes all of the partner banks that are sponsoring in financial products and services on behalf of fintechs here in the US. All of the infrastructure players, so program managers, processors, and then the end user fintech platforms across all verticals. These could be direct-to-consumer banks. These could be small business serving platforms, commercial or enterprise platforms, providing DDAs, lending products. Really, we think about fintech as a horizontal. We talk to and manage about 500 fintech companies, so it's a really exciting and dynamic role. We see ourselves as an ingredient for innovation, right? And one of the key differentiators for us here at Mastercard is really our approach to partnership. We spend a lot of time with our fintechs, with the founders of our fintechs, who are solving real pain points, right, for their customers and their users. And we through that time, right, and pairing that with as well some of the research that Mastercard has done on our own, we get to know them, and we solve problems together. And I think that's what's most exciting about us, and honestly something that we found as a really successful approach in the fintech space.
Perfect. So I'm Hania Faridi. I look after business development for our fintech and digital partners on behalf of Mastercard Data and Services. Mastercard Data and Services is the professional services arm of Mastercard. We focus on driving value beyond the transaction. So we work very closely with Tim and team on a few different areas with our fintech partners, specifically on helping them make better informed decisions, so taking their data assets, our data assets, shifting those to insights and then to action. We focus on elevating the consumer and customer experience through improving personalization, loyalty, and marketing efforts. And we help partner on innovation. So we have a team that leans in to drive new digital experiences and new ideas to help fintechs be empowered for greater growth.
Thank you. Well, we have a lot to get into, so let's just start with some advice that you've been giving fintechs. You have been encouraging fintechs to shift into a more sustainable business model. So less focus on new market acquisition and more of a focus on maturing and nurturing the clients that you have. How does one make that shift?
Yeah, it's funny. We were speaking with one of our venture capital partners on a panel yesterday here at Money20, and one of the pieces of guidance that they've been given their portfolio companies, and we've been hearing pretty consistently from our fintech partners, is don't burn your cash before 2025, quite honestly. And I think how has that manifested itself in terms of how we're engaging, what we're seeing with partners? I think for the last several years in fintech, we've seen many companies that are solving more B2C companies solving real kind of consumer problems, and there was a proliferation of DDA accounts for niche segments of consumers, whether those are kind of new to the U.S. kind of immigrants that are really kind of deep and focused entrenched verticals, or just financial services that are serving underbanked or underrepresented communities. And I think what we're starting to see now is a focus on how do we take that user base that we've cultivated over the last several years, and how do we further monetize that and create more lifetime value for that customer. So we're seeing more and more of those types of companies diversifying into higher margin products like lending or credit card products. And so that's certainly something that we see as a trend that's going to continue.
Speaking of emerging clients, you've got a lot that you see with all of your fintech partnerships and what you're doing with StartPath, which is a great program. And tell me what you're looking for in fintechs in 2024.
I'm happy to kick that off. So, certainly we're seeing a lot of focus around our data and insights, right? And thinking about how to drive better experiences and drive better decisions through our data. I think AI is going to be a big trend that's going to be very relevant in the space. We're starting to just scratch the surface, I think, of what's possible with AI. So time will tell on how big and impactful it can be to the fintech industry. But we think about, for example, the consumer experience, being able to provide really personalized, targeted recommendations to the consumer through AI. And then on the actual experience and interaction with the consumer, generative AI, I think, can play a pretty substantial role there. In other areas of fintech and underwriting and lending, leveraging data to then build learning algorithms from an AI perspective, I think can enhance that process and streamline that process. So the implications are pretty wide.
Yeah, I think, from my perspective, next year is going to be a continuation of a couple trends that I'm seeing. I talked a little bit about how in the past few years we've seen more focus on kind of B2C fintechs. I think we're going to continue to see fintechs solving small business and kind of enterprise needs, particularly in spaces like how small businesses kind of manage and optimize their daily operations, leveraging things like AI that Hania mentioned. How do we create intelligence around leveraging the data that they have and the knowledge that they have of their business and create intelligence to help them kind of manage their payments or manage their cash flow or manage their daily operations in a more kind of seamless and secure way. I think as well that will also, particularly in payments, we're seeing a lot of companies lean in and focus on how do we capture and optimize buyer to supplier payments, or how do we bring more modern experiences maybe to the corporate, like employee travel as well. And I think the other big trend that we are really focused on is, we've cultivated this ecosystem of fintech partners, and that includes kind of more modern kind of digital issuer processors or core banking providers. How do we take those relationships and those partnerships that we've fostered and help better service traditional financial institutions? So these could be, a longer tail of community institutions, regional banks, or even some of the, top 50 banks in the U.S., and help them deliver, again, like more modern, seamless financial services, digitally native financial services experiences.
It all leads into helping the consumers and the businesses in the end. So we've made a lot of improvements over the years.
That's right.
On improvements, how are you helping fintechs? What can a fintech look to expect from Mastercard?
Yeah, so I'd say Mastercard has holistically leaned into a lot of programs to support the success of fintechs. Specifically within data and services, we've recently launched a program called Success Planning for Fintechs. Tim spoke about partnerships. It's basically a program where we really lean in and partner to help the fintechs be successful, tackle some of the challenging questions and topics in the payments landscape, and ultimately look to the long term when they think about setting their business up for the best and most success. The areas that we focus on with success planning for fintechs are basically three areas: fraud and risk. So helping fintechs really understand what the landscape can look like, what they should watch out for, what the pitfalls are, and how to avoid challenges around fraud. The second is around their operating models, and again, setting those up in a way that is long-term sustainable. And the third is on customer life cycle. So not just looking at acquisition and growth, but looking at how to retain, engage customers over their entire life cycle with the business.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, so that's something new that we've launched this year, and it's proven extremely successful. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, and kudos to Hania and her team for kind of leading the charge. We're rolling that out globally as well at Mastercard, and that's something that we're in our role too. We're charged to be kind of thought leaders and take best practices and things that work here in the U.S. for fintechs and help roll those, and that's exactly what we're doing with our success planning for fintechs. I think as well, beyond that kind of intense kind of expertise and consulting engagement, and beyond our partnership team and approach that I spoke about earlier, we also have several programs that are specifically designed for fintechs. You had mentioned our Start Path program, which is one of our marquee fintech programs focused on How do we help identify early stage companies who are focused in specific strategically important verticals for Mastercard and bring them through kind of our in-house incubator. We also have programs like our Engage program. I keep coming back to this word ecosystem, right? But it really is our job. We view ourselves as a network of partners as much as a global payments network. And so like our Engage program is actually designed to bring partners in and provide access to fintechs, to technology partners at scale, whether those partners are providing, processing, whether they're providing digital core banking, whether they're providing tokenization services. And so I think you'll see more from us next year in terms of how we're evolving that program. And then lastly, this is one I'm really excited about, but is our FinTech Express program. This is something we're piloting, or launched actually in LAC right now, and we're piloting here in North America. And that's really designed to, when we determine that, hey, this is a partner where we do want to launch, right now, the first use case is a net new issuing card program with Mastercard. How do we bring all partners to the table, our partner banks, processors, and those fintechs to make that process as seamless, efficient, and kind of get them to market, as quickly, safely, and securely as possible.
It's an evolution of scale where they can keep growing through what Mastercard has to offer.
Absolutely.
Way past the accelerator, yes. A lot to offer there. Also, an important topic for all of us, I think, is financial inclusion and financial health. I want to hear how you think the industry is doing on that scope right now and what you see happening.
Want me to start? Yeah, sure, I'll start. I think one of the most gratifying things about my role in the work that we do at Mastercard is partnering with companies that are solving real problems for real world people. Our mission statement is literally empowering economies, empowering people, empowering economies. We don't just talk the talk, right? Like we walk the walk, and I think that's evidenced right through our fintech partnerships. And I'm seeing, despite the challenges in the market right now, we're continuing to see kind of innovation and founders kind of uniquely solving consumer or small business pain points. And so I think some really good examples of that are, historic partners that we've had, like Aspiration, right, where you can tie actually the spend on your card and your consumer spend to contributing to a more sustainable future for our planet. So really excited about that. Other partners like Greenlight are leaning into the teen and young adult segment to provide them with prepaid cards and DDA to teach them financial management and actually surround that with financial education and curriculum, and really lowering the barriers of access to financial services for that segment. Partners like Guava, right? Kelly, who founded Guava, we're really excited about solving the needs for underrepresented or Black small business owners, right? Which again is something that's a huge passion point for us in terms of how we lean into that space. So I think we often align with our partners at a mission level. And it just makes it a lot easier to do business together and to grow our relationship when we have those shared values. And so, I'm really excited to see, even new partners pop up that we can kind of lean in with. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And what I'd add to that is, from a data and services and consulting perspective, we lean in to help these partners grow, right? And I think that's important for them, but it's important for the whole ecosystem and the collective mission. So as they launch their payment programs, right, we're right there by their side, helping them grow those programs to make them as effective for their own businesses, but for the end consumers that they serve, and making the world a better place.
So in closing, what advice do you have for a fintech that would want to get involved into your ecosystem? Where do they begin?
Yeah, I would say number of different entry points, but we actually just launched Mastercard.com/fintech. It's kind of a rebranded version of our website this year. A lot of work and effort went into that. That's a great place to start. There's a ton of tools, a lot of rich information and great resources. All the programs that I talked about, our Start Path program, Engage, FinTech Express, you can find much more rich detail and content there. So I really encourage you to go and check that out. You'll continue to see us kind of iterate on that platform as we move forward into 2024. You'll continue to see us publish news and partnerships and highlight some of the case studies and success stories that we're talking about here today. So that would be a great starting point. Yeah.
I like it. Well, there you have it. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great conversation, and I look forward to hearing more about Mastercard and your fintech ecosystem.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.